Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, folks. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strangebro Jim, and today, as always, well, maybe not as always, but we're going to be getting back into some studying for Pega, or for the Pega certification. Um, we got some more videos to upload, and then we got Warframe later on today. So, um, and of course, for those of you watching this on YouTube later, you can see all of this when I do, uh, um, these streams live. So just come on over to my channel and you can catch it right then and there. Now, um, let's go over who I am if you're catching this video for the first time, and what these videos are about, and you know, basically explain what's going on here. So, I'm currently an unemployed software developer. Um, got no work, so um, you know, got nothing better to do than either try to get a certification or try to do some coding on the side. Um, right now, I want to try to get the certification for Pega so that I can put that on my resume, saying that I've already had a job in it, just don't have the certification to be considered um, an employee for some other company. Um, so I'm currently working on getting my system architect certification. Um, we've already completed the business architect mission, so if you're watching this for the first time and you're kind of hoping for more business architect side of things, then I recommend going back through my old videos on my playlist and checking all that out, and you'll get a lot more information there. For anybody that's kind of wondering, I go through, I've gone through all the topics um, in the well, I'll kind of explain a little bit more, but I've gone through all the topics and challenges and so on and so forth for the business architect, which is also tied in with the system architect as well. You just have to look up the topic name and it'll be there. Or, just go through my playlist. It's all in order, you know. Um, so, at least for 8.7, they might, or yeah, for 8.7, they might change things in 8.8, so or beyond. So you'll have to take it with a grain of salt if you're watching this, in a later version. Okay. Um, Now, I'm not an authorized training partner, and this is not meant to be an instructor-led training. Okay. I'm not an expert in Pega, so I don't know everything that there is to know about Pega. You know, hence the reason why I'm going for this certification. Now, um, hopefully, if you do have an authorized training partner, hopefully they're really good and they will teach you everything that they know about Pega, and you'll learn a lot that you can pass the certification with flying colors. Um, the one that I had with my other peers in my team, well, um, pretty much all of us went self-study because we were having a hard time with our instructor. Um, so so yeah, I mean, um, the fact that our instructor brought in another person altogether to teach us other parts of Pega, it's like, it's just, eh. Um, okay. Um, Another thing is if you, you know, there is some instructor-led training, and it should be from someone, straight from Pega, the Academy itself. But it does cost quite a bit to get an instructor-led training, and it's only for like maybe 2 weeks or something like that. It is a very short training session to get through everything that there is for Pega. I mean, you just go through my playlist on um, on YouTube, and you'll see how long it takes me just to kind of read through the content and kind of discuss and so on and so forth. So, yeah, um, I don't, they will pack everything into that instructor-led course. So, um, try to, learn as much as you can from it and ask questions. Get your money's worth out of it because, your main goal is to get that certification, or at least I would hope. If you're watching this and you're actually, someone that's a veteran of Pega, or you've kind of been in the, um, maybe you're doing this as a review or something like that, perfectly understandable. Now, if there's a question that I have, so again, I'm not an expert, I would hope that you put a comment in my videos or give a comment here in my chat right at this moment in time to explain explain, you know, what I might be missing on my questions. I've had a lot of questions over this series. I've given like a lot of suggestions to Pega, and they've responded to some of those suggestions in positive, or basically saying, well, no, it's this way, kind of thing. So, but that's it. I'm not endorsed by Pega in any way, shape, or form. You know, I never really asked them for permission on this. They've never given me their blessing. They don't give me any kind of special treatment or anything along those lines. Um, so if you think that, then please stop. That's not the case. Um, I'm welcome if they want to maybe discuss things with me about it, but I kind of doubt that, but you never know. Crazier things have happened, right? Um, so, but yeah, that's basically where I'm at on this. So, um, now again, the business architect has been completed. Okay, these two missions and two modules are done. Now, bear in mind, if you're watching this as going for the business architect, these two modules right there is all about the Pega Express delivery, and 13% of the current certification is about the Pega Express delivery. So, I would kind of recommend going through this mission about Pega Express delivery because I feel like these two modules do not cover enough. Not enough for 13% of random questions in there. So if you're taking the business architect, I suggest going through the Pega Express delivery, to review and make sure that you're good on that 13%. You want to get that. You want to make sure that that 13% you get 100% correct on those questions. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss a question. But we are currently working through our system architect um, mission here. That's my goal. That's where I want to go for my certification. So, um, last, you know, um, last time we did the decision tables in Dev Studio, so now we're on decision trees. So let's get through that today. So, decision tree logic. You can use decision trees to handle logic that returns a result from a set of test conditions. The decision trees can evaluate against different test conditions and properties. A true comparison can lead to additional comparisons. For example, a human resources application contains a process for assessing a job candidate. The candidate receives a set of ratings during the interviews. These ratings are evaluated to determine whether to extend a job offer to the candidate. A decision tree is configured to automatically use the ratings as test conditions to decide whether the candidate is qualified. The decision starts at the top of the tree and proceeds downward. Each yes advances the evaluation. The result is either not qualified or eligible for a job offer. So you have job history and reference rating greater than 60%, then yes, we go on to the interview. Otherwise, probably not qualified, according to them. Interview rating greater than 40%, move on. Otherwise, not qualified. Interpersonal skills, is it greater than 20%? Then yes, eligible for job offer, otherwise not qualified, and they get the rejection letter. how how appropriate. Right now, I'm not even getting past that 60% myself, I guess. Not really getting a whole lot of interviews myself, so. And when you're up against like 800 other applicants, I mean, what can you do, right? So, um, you can reference decision trees to flow rules, declare expressions, activities, or routers. The following video describes the structure of a decision tree. So, um, okay, so the video transcript is very short here. It's 15 seconds. You won't be able to hear it. Okay, that was a very quick video, but I mean, um, let me read through it because it was the text up here is really quick for you. If you're trying to read this, um, then maybe you're struggling. Maybe English isn't your first language. It's perfectly understandable and perfectly reasonable. So, video transcript. Like a decision table, a decision tree consists of a set of conditions to evaluate and the results to return. Unlike a decision tree, however, a decision tree consists of a series of branches that contain more and more specific conditions, ultimately leading to a return value. So, if A is true, then if B is true, then if C is true, then return D. Otherwise, you return that. Um, you know, Although this isn't exactly the best. Um, this isn't really a good graphic for showing a decision tree, in my particular opinion, because it's like, you know, what's what's this part here? You know, um, what's this? You know, if C is false, then it gives this result. Um, if it is false on B, then it gives um, that result. And then maybe technically it should be saying, if A is false here, then it should have like the last D value there. But again, I don't know what they're trying to do here. Um, I mean, when you have a decision tree, normal tree is like, two branches, you know. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have more than one branch. Um, but I mean, um, if you have like, true or false here, then it's like, having multiple results out of that doesn't really work very well. So that's why this right here is a little odd. So because it's either true or false. Those are just two results. So you don't really have any other results out of those. You know, if you have two results from whether or not a condition is true, and it's like, hmm, then um, maybe, um, I don't know. It's just what they're giving here and what they're showing there is a little off. That's all. Not enough. There's not enough here to really give me any kind of like, I there's not enough there for me to really suggest a good edit for it. Okay, because I'm not quite sure exactly what they're trying to do here. Um, I mean, it kind of works, but yet at the same time it doesn't. So I don't know. Um, you know, series of branches that contain more and more specific conditions, which again, you know, the whole true or false doesn't fit into that. Okay. If you have a specific condition like saying, hey, is this value greater than 10? Is this value greater than 20? Is this value greater than 30? If those are your conditions, then it would be like, is it greater than 10? Yes. Is it greater than 20? No. So it goes to that one result. Okay. Is it greater than 10? Yes. Is it greater than 20? No. Is it greater than 30? Or, yes, yes, no kind of thing, and then you go to the 20 result. You get what I'm saying? Um, so this whole true isn't really great, but whatever. We move on. Condition branches. Decision trees contain condition branches, a comparison rule or comparison value, a comparison operator, and an action. The action can be to return a result, to return a valuation, or stop the evaluation. The branches are organized in a hierarchical tree structure. Typically, you specify common conditions and results as at the trunk of the tree. You then extend the tree outward to more specific conditions and their actions. When the decision tree is invoked, the system evaluates the top row and continues until it reaches a result that evaluates to true. The result is returned to the system. If the system processes through all the branches but does not reach a returned result, the system returns the final otherwise value. I mean, it still reaches a return result. It's just that return result is the otherwise. So it's a little, the wording there isn't exactly correct. Um, so um, if comparison value, like if x is greater than 10, or if x is greater than 10, then continue. you know, um, or you can say, if it's greater than 10, return Y or something like that, whatever. Um, Otherwise, return Z or something like that, or return 20, or whatever, whatever you want to do with this kind of process. Um, it's basically taking this here, you know, job history and reference rating as the comparison value. Operator is greater than. Value is 60%. 60%. Then if it is, then we continue on to the next one, right? So, which, we then do another else if interview rating greater than 40%, then we continue. If the interpersonal skills is greater than 20%, then we continue to, you know, offer a job. Okay. If any one of these evaluates to false, then you can probably just say, hey, send them to otherwise. Otherwise, return send rejection letter or something along those lines. So, okay. Okay. Nested branches. You can organize decision tree branches in a nested structure. For example, assume that when a purchase request is submitted, three possible outcomes exist. The first condition states that if the request is more than $100, then the request must be routed for approval. Two possible approval results exist. If the consulting department submits the request advances to the compliance department for approval. Otherwise, the request advances to the work manager for approval. If the request is for less than $100, then approval is not needed. So, purchase request over $100. If it's not, then it's not needed. Otherwise, we go back into the department for consulting. If it is approved, and then it goes to compliance approval. Otherwise, it goes to the work manager approval. So, um, the following image shows how the decision tree would be configured to advance the request correctly. Note that department approval condition is nested beneath the purchase request condition. The purchase request condition must be true before the department approval condition is evaluated. If the request is less than $100, the tree does not need to evaluate the request any further and returns the result not needed. So, okay, and that is it for this particular topic of decision trees. So we have a test here, so check your knowledge. You configure a decision tree to determine what type of checking account is appropriate for an applicant. If the applicant is a student, Pega Platform recommends they choose a student checking account. If the applicant is a senior, Pega Platform recommends they choose a 60 plus checking account. Otherwise, Pega Platform recommends they choose the standard checking account. How do you configure the decision tree? Okay, so if they are a student, is yes, then return a student checking account. If the condition is a senior is equal to yes, then you return the 60 checking account. Otherwise, return the standard checking account. So, now, you might be wondering, well, why didn't they do um, why didn't they give us a choice, or, they gave us this um, option to choose the 60. Why didn't they do it with the student? Um, they might have needed. in like a specific order. Like, you know, like if this particular question right there was up here in order, then they might have marked it wrong, even though it's like, well, wait, uh, I mean, it doesn't really matter, you know, um, um, now here's the thing that, you might want to consider. What happens if you have a senior that's also a college student? There's those individuals out there, folks. There's people that are over the age of 60 that are still students or that went back to college to learn. So, yeah. Um, which one do you choose at that point, right? So, so make sure that you are very much kind of clear on your, um, on how you design your logic for this. So, you know, if they are both senior and a student, do you give them that choice? Hey, you can either choose the 60 plus checking account or you can choose the student checking account. Or maybe they want both. You know, why not, right? Um, maybe they are, that way of, setting up the, you know, maybe they want to deal with two different checking accounts. Maybe there's some benefits in the student that's a little bit different than the 60% checking account. Like maybe if you use your student checking account to do like book purchases or something like that, then maybe you get a little bit of a discount. So why would you use your 60% checking account to lose the potential money for that, right? So, I mean, why wouldn't a senior have that? You get what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, um, so just make sure that your logic is sound you're kind of constructing this um, when you're constructing this. Okay. And all you need to do is just kind of put that at the very start here. If the condition is a senior and a student, then you give them the option for both. Otherwise, is the um, is the person a student? No. Then they go on to, is the person a senior? Yes. Then they give the 60%. That kind of thing, right? So, or the 60 plus. So, and if they're none of them, then obviously the standard checking account works, right? So, okay, that's about it for decision tree logic there. Um, Tomorrow we'll go ahead and go through the decision tree or decision table topic, where it's basically gonna kind of go through um, what's better out of them all. Um, which one would you want to use? Um, you know, would you want to do the decision tree? Would you want to use the decision table? What's best, right? So that will be tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But that's where we're going to go ahead and end our uh, Pega study session. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna stop right there. Now, um, if you're still watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you for joining me today. Feel free to check out all the links in the description down below. social media such as my Discord. Um, you can help me out personally by um, you know uh, um, going to my Patreon if you want. I got some extra videos there, mainly gameplay, and mainly gameplay. There isn't anything coding wise there, or at least I haven't had a need to do that. Typically, anything that I've gotten hit with like copyright, I normally just kind of put in the Patreon. Um, I've done a couple like extra videos with like Genshin Impact there, but that's if you're interested along those lines. But nothing necessarily coding. But I mean, even if you contribute there, then you're helping me out. So um, and I welcome anybody that might be willing to do that. Okay. There's also Throne. If you want to just do it like a one-time um, helping me out with something there, or maybe you want to suggest some additional um, items that might be helpful to me in some way. You're welcome to go there and check that, give suggestions, or um, make outright purchases there, and then we'll go from there. Okay, but obviously don't do that. You know, if you can't handle any kind of payments or anything along those lines, don't do that. You know, if you have a disposable income, then sure, but don't. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Okay, you know, helping me out with the YouTube algorithm, like subscribing, sharing, all that jazz is going to be perfectly fine. Okay, I'll be happy with that, you know, as well. Okay, so don't stress. Okay, um, feel free to leave a comment. If you have a question or you just want to say, hey, thanks for making these videos. They're really helping me out a lot. I mean, that works just as well. That boosts up my um, that boosts me up. So, I appreciate any kind of comments like that on my videos. I mean, who doesn't, right? So, um, so I welcome that. If you're just kind of lurking in the background on my streams, I want to thank you for stopping on by as well. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. Hopefully you're getting um, a lot out of it. Um, Again, feel free to ask questions. Um, and yeah, I think that's where we're gonna go ahead and stop the Pega video. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully catch you next time. But until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.